sounds of DJ Twan. He's joining us for the Vintage House Show. This is Lori Branch, one of your hosts for the night. We'll also probably hear from my co-host Lauren Lowry. Sometimes she gets on the mic. But Twan is DJ, resident DJ for Celeste, beautiful club in the North Loop area, so the Gold Coast. Talk about house music, so keep listening. This is WNUR 89.3, Evanston, Chicago, HD1.
On a rainy day, you take all my worries away. Blessed that I have found such a treasure. Oh, I'm here to stay. I will not run away. I just can't describe how I am feeling new. I just am mountain shining, going right in a good way. I don't want to lose enough fight. Now we make it through the stormy weather. It's so hard for me to stay away. Ooh. I'm becoming more like you day by day. Wanna start you carefully. Don't wanna miss anything. No, you are so different, special. Please don't mind all my questions, 'cause I just wanna love you right. I just can't describe how I am feeling new. Around I just am bouncing, shining, going right in a good way. I don't want to lose enough fight. Now we make it through the stormy weather. It's so hard for me to stay away. I can't sit away from you. I just in a good way. I don't want to lose enough. Now we Todos vamos a bailar que esto se ha puesto para gozar. Super people, super people. No te me quedes atrás, las manos para arriba, nena. Super people, super people. Una cosa, una cosa.
So that is DJ Twan. I know you don't put DJ in front of your name, you just say Twan. Twan, come on and join us. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I think we're going to put this back because Twan is doing some really cool things, and we were just having a great conversation about stuff that we usually talk about. And the first thing we were talking about some events. So lots going on. It's spring and the season is heating up. So we're going to be doing lots. You're already doing a lot of things. But as it gets warmer, there are always more. There's more to do. There's more opportunities to go out. So that's right. Summertime shot. So thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Try to,
Is it working?
yes, it is.
Okay.
So, Sean, you, you said you're two entire
Mm.
Is that today you would tell people?
Oh no, it's all over. Yeah, it's all over the place.
And how do you pronounce your last
Antonym.
name? Antonym.
Yeah.
Easy. It was easy.
Mhm.
I'm going to just, I like your bio. And I typically don't read bios, but I kind of like the way you framed it. Like, Powerhouse Midwest House Music Scene, earning a nomination for Chicago Leader Best House Music DJ in 2024. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Appreciate
And I agree with you. Talent is really iconic. Venues, Concord House Blues, Chop Shop. I have the privilege of hanging out with you at Select, which is your residency,
Yep.
on Friday
it.
night.
Every Friday night.
And it's really kind of cool. I want to talk about Hubbard Street because Hubbard Street, to me, are you from Chicago?
You will stop from the suburbs, but yeah,
Chicago.
my family is. Yeah,
So
yeah.
when I was younger, Hubbard Street was not the same way that it is. You can.
I'm curious, how was it different?
It just was not radically different. It was like, I don't know, it was sort of like, I remember a lot of male prostitutes.
Oh
Like that. No problem. I think when I think of Hubbard Street, what do you think of, Lauren? Hubbard Street, like when we were younger. Who remembers Hubbard Street as kids? Yeah, it was kind of dark. For some reason, I'm not getting your comments, but maybe Lauren, you can help me out with that. It was darker. It was a little more seedy. Like it's very poppy now. Like it sort of reminds me of what Rush Street used to be.
Mm.
It's a scene.
Mm.
There's restaurants, bars, it's open all night. And quite honestly, whenever I play down there in the summer, like I'm around the corner, like at the other place, there's a couple places down there that play. I'm always surprised at just how lively it is.
Absolutely.
And you've been at Celeste for how long now?
like 2 years.
2 years
Yeah.
every Friday.
Other places, there's
What
a
do you
couple
think about
places down there
I
that
love it.
play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
I'm always
beautiful,
surprised
beautiful
at just
venue.
how
Yeah.
lively it
And
is.
we're bringing
Absolutely.
it
And
in a
you've been
direction
at
that's
Celeste for how long
very
now?
Like 2 years.
you know what I
2
mean?
Yeah.
And a
years,
lot of
every
the
Friday.
Mhm.
artists
What do
that
you
I'm
think
bringing
about it?
in, it's
I
all
love it.
house
Yes,
music.
Yeah.
It's
it's a
all
beautiful,
real, like,
beautiful venue.
Yes.
authentic Chicago
And
house.
we're
So
bringing
Love
it in a
that.
direction that's
Hmm.
very housey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of the artists that I'm bringing in, it's all house music,
Yeah.
all real like authentic Chicago house. So
I love that.
it's really nice.
And what I do love about that is when I think about the Chicago house scene, um, we're creating a new audience for it.
Mhm.
And I think Celeste and the work that you're doing is very important because folks who were part of my generation and we grew up learning, with the first generation of house heads, house music, house DJs. We nervous. We're always nervous about that. Like, is the legacy continuing?
Mhm.
And so I'm so thrilled when I was at Celeste and I see you playing and I see other people playing for younger people who are like, the 20 something year old, women with their girlfriends who are
Absolutely.
hanging out and they're loving
Mhm.
house music
Mhm.
because it's sort of it warms my heart because they
I'm
are
glad.
they're into it, and
Yeah,
I appreciate
absolutely.
you bringing that culture, to places like Celeste.
I do think there's like a bit of a void in that area. Like there's just not a lot of really good house music parties that, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the parties that I will go
Yeah.
to and
Uh-huh.
hang out at,
Yeah.
it's not in that area. You know what I mean?
No.
It's up north, it's down south, it's
That's
west.
true.
It's not in River North. I mean, other than like, like a Spy Bar or like a venue like that where
Yeah.
they have a lot of good acts that come in and are playing really good house music.
Yeah. So it's a void, meaning that there's a lot going on there, but not a lot of house music.
Not like it's
What is it?
It's more so like it's a lot of commercial. It's very commercial.
Yeah.
And it's very like a lot of remixes, a lot of edits. It's very
Yeah.
like kind of a lot of like stuff that's really corny for me, like
Yeah.
edits and just, I mean, not that I won't play edits, but I'll
Yeah.
play good edits. A lot of the stuff that is going on in that area, it's all like a lot of even just like, top 40 bars
I was
and
gonna
just
say
like,
it's
yeah,
like pop music.
pop.
It's like stuff you're gonna hear on the radio.
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you really are bringing the culture, I think, to that community or the people who come there. Who comes to Celeste? I was trying to figure that crowd out.
It's a very,
I was trying to figure out who's here.
it's a little all over the place,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's a lot of different types of people.
Mhm.
I like it because it's diverse. There's
Yeah.
a lot of different types of walks of life
Yeah.
in there.
Uh-huh.
But what I think is great is that people come there for dance music.
They do.
They come because they know. I mean, obviously there's the disco floor where you can
Yes.
do your thing there, but then also on the rooftop, it's house music.
Yeah.
Like, especially for my party, it's nothing but house music.
That's
So
great.
people that if they're wanting to go out in that area,
Uh-huh.
they know that it's a dance music place, right?
Yeah.
Where there's not a lot of places that are like that right
That's
now.
true. They're not standing around on their phones. They really are dancing. They're getting into it. So yes, I know. I'm sorry. I know I'm missing some comments here. So for some reason they're not popping up. So if you're saying hey, I'm saying hey back to you. And we're really excited to have Twan in the house tonight. I wanted to ask you a few questions. Vintage House. So the whole purpose of this show is that we want to document stories about sort of the legends, legacy, and people who are continuing the legacy of like real Chicago house music, like people like yourself. And so all the stories are important. And so I want to know yours. So how is it that you came into appreciating and then playing house music? So you're from Chicago area.
Yeah. So from the suburbs, Hinsdale.
Hinsdale, okay.
Yeah, so like southwest, far away. I mean, not too far. It's like 45 minutes, right? But my family, they grew up, like my family's from Chicago.
Okay.
I am from the suburbs, but I started getting in the house when I was even in middle school. When I was young, I loved house music. I mean, I always knew it was for me, it was just getting introduced to it, right? Yes. It was a lot of EDM, it was a lot of the more commercial stuff that I was like kind of just get my feet wet in.
Yeah.
But then once I moved downtown to the city and immersed myself in the scene,
yes,
and I saw all the real DJs that we have out here, I just started to learn more and more. That's right. Great. And then over time I developed a very, very serious like appreciation just for house music and for the culture and for the history and everything. Because for me, and everybody talks about it, house music brings a lot of types of people together.
Yes.
And it's about love and it's about positivity.
Absolutely.
And for me, like, that's just what I'm kind of grounded on, and that's really why I do. Like, that's why it's for me, it's everything, right? And I mean, I've over the years, especially recently, I've just been getting more and more and more and more and more and more into it because I'm producing and making music and trying to get stuff signed and sending stuff around. So it's starting to get even more interesting, but because of the production side of things. But I really am just like in love with house music in this city, and that all the talent that we have here and the people that are here. You know, I've found some great mentors, even
That's
yourself,
great.
right?
Thank
like
you.
to be able to you know, rub shoulders with some of the best and some of the people that have really influenced this city and in the scene. It's everything for me.
I appreciate you saying that, and I'm really curious about sort of like, what was the bug that bit you? Like, when you moved downtown, did you go to a particular club? I'm really just trying to get a sense of like, what happened?
So initially, I started working in the club scene. So I was working at the clubs, and I was drawn to the DJs that were. I was always drawn to the DJs and the music end of it, because I've been DJing for a long time, producing music even for a long time. I started DJing and producing back in high school, so a while now, and you know, it's just as I got immersed into the club scene. I saw, hey, you know, I should really start taking this more seriously. You know, I was DJing at like my house for like friends and like
you know,
house
that's how
parties.
It always starts.
Exactly. You know, that's where everybody.
We DJ in our
starts.
basements, and then we eventually break out and like for crowds. You know, like
And that's what it was, right? And so, you know, it just started to get, you know, once I started to get better and I started making stuff and started getting more confident in the stuff I was producing. Then I'm like, wow, I really gotta like take this seriously. That's, you know, and people, you know, they enjoy my sets, they enjoy my music. I need to really work hard. And you know, for a while I dropped out of school, so I was in school at DePaul University, and I had like dropped out for a few years because I was just taking music full time. Very like that was just I was like, hey, I need to give this everything, because I feel like I have a responsibility to really give my everything into what I'm doing.
Appreciate that.
And so, you know, I'm right now I'm finishing my degree. I just recently, like actually this year, started taking some classes again. Because I feel like I can handle it. But it's because I do want to finish my degree, but it's just been, you know, I dedicated my life to this.
It can be very consuming. And I know for myself, I mean, one of the reasons I stopped DJing and finished school. Like, I was in school and it was very consuming to me. This was in the 80s. And I'm just like, I can't do both. I can't be a club kid and a DJ, you know. And I was actually, you know, in and out of school because I was going to Columbia College because I wanted to produce and, you know, doing little studio projects and stuff like that. And I was like, I can't. And working. You know, so I had to pick one. So I said, let me finish school. When I finish school, I'll come back out and I'll do it. And it took me forever, but good for you, for knowing what's a priority. And if you put the time in and you've already done that, you're kind of testing yourself, and you're out there, you're making it. Finish school, then you'll have the whole package. But I wanted to get into. I love this inspiration. So you worked in a club. Were you DJing in the club, or were you like?
So I was DJing at other clubs. But like the club that I was working at, it was not a house club. So they were not. It was like, I mean, I started DJing at a lot of house parties and like house music venues. And they were, you know, hey, why are you DJing at these clubs? Like, you're working here. And so the rule that they had given me was like, all right, you can only DJ at other clubs when you're not working here. And I worked at that club probably Wednesday to Sunday. So it was Thursday to Sunday. So my options was Monday to Wednesday. I had to find gigs, and I was like playing at a lot of these just random, you know, industry weekday parties, getting my feet wet. And then after a while, more people wanted to book me because they were like, yo, this kid's good. We want to book him, you know? And so after a while, that club had booked me a couple times because they said, you know, even if you play house music, we still want you to come DJ here.
And then you converted them.
A little bit, right? And that's what it was. And that's
You
really
gotta
how it
convert
is.
people when you play house music, because not everybody's always into it. But then once they feel that groove, I mean, and you definitely have a great style. I mean, we were just partying, you know, we were like, okay, we got to get to the show, but we're just having such a good time listening to your mixing. And it's very soulful, but it's punchy. It's like, it's you got an edge. It's really, really good.
Thank you, Lori.
Coming
really, from you, that means too, like, that means
all
a
of
lot.
us were grooving. Everybody in here, you know, Mateo and Lauren came in here dancing. So we're all like dancing. If you didn't see that part, when this ends, you can go back and watch the first part of it. So you can see him do his thing. So we were talking about something before we got on. You know, sometimes the conversations before the conversation are always good. And we're talking about requests. And I have to say, I kind of hate requests. I know some people will deal with that. My girl, you know, VD girl.
Love VD.
Yeah, and Darlene, they're so much meaner than me about it.
I can imagine.
I don't mean to say they're not meaner. They're just like, I'm such a pushover, you know. I'll at least entertain it.
Yeah.
I'll be like, what are you trying? What?
Okay, I got you.
Okay, all right. Let me see if I might have it. I don't know. Let me check. You know, I ain't playing that shit. But they're like, get away from the stage. You know?
Yeah. No, if I'm like, if I don't want to even entertain it,
yes,
that's like, hey, I got you. I'll play it in a little bit, and then you know, kind of just.
So you're kind of like me.
But also, like, so like kind of, you know, being the person that is the steward of this party that I have.
Yeah.
I can get mean quick when it comes to people coming up. Not just to me. I mean, I can handle it.
Sure.
You know, come and request something to me. I don't care. You know, I'll deal with it. But some of the DJs that entertain it, and especially people I look up to and respect a lot, I don't deal with. I tell them, hey, listen, this is not that type of party. This is not that type of club. Good. If you want to do that, go across the street. Go to one of these other clubs that
you can talk to the DJ.
Yeah, you can talk to them and they'll look it up on their computer.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, it's not that type of party. And I think that people don't realize that. Like, it's a house music party, a real house music party with people actually playing records and not playing music and not, you know, finding something and syncing it up. It's a different vibe.
It's a way different vibe.
You know, and so when people really get into that, you can see the conversion happen. Like, oh, there's a different vibe here.
I agree.
You know, so that's so cool. So I want to ask you about sort of the Chicago house music scene. Like, how do you see that? That's why it wasn't working. Something was wrong. There we go. Sorry, guys. My phone is acting really weird. You know, it's technology. The Chicago house music scene, what do you think is special about Chicago house music? You were in Hinsdale. That's where you sort of grew up. But you moved downtown. You've experienced other cities. I've seen you play other places. What's special about us, Chicago, in your opinion?
I think that house music over time, when you go to different cities, it's evolved into other pockets of different subgenres of house, right?
Yes.
But when you're talking Chicago, there's still that authenticity of it started here. Yes. And that culture is still here.
It continues.
So when you go to play some of these other cities, like I was just playing out over in Tampa, and then I played a show in Denver, and they're different. Like Tampa for me, it was it's very techy, very like heavy tech house, very techy, right? And then Denver is more bass. It's like they like dubstep and bass house and all the crazy stuff like that. So it's just, I feel like it's different in these cities what people are drawn to and what the mass population, what the majority of people want. Yeah. But when you come to Chicago, there's everybody, you know, they want what they want, right? People want different things. But in Chicago, there's that community of this is what house music is really about. Yeah. This is Chicago. This is, you know, I've been going to a lot of parties of people that I really look up to that have been DJing, you know, as long as you, right? Yeah. Where it's like, it's every single record to me, I get put on, and then I'm like, I just keep on putting me on to new records and to stuff that I had never heard, and it's all amazing.
Yeah.
And I love it all, right?
Yeah.
And to me, it like you said, it's that soulful, it's groovy, and that to me is what I love. And there in these different cities, people say, oh, this is house music, and it's like some like it's just like crazy, like what people think is house music, but it's like if you really do your research, that's not house music.
It's something else.
Yeah, it's one of the subgenres of what it's developed into.
Yeah, I love the way you frame that, because that's what makes Chicago special. There's the authenticity of what house music is, because we've grown up in it. And we've taught it to people who came after us, you know, so they've grown up in it. So there's been generations who've grown up with that authentic feel to it. So that's pretty cool. I'd love to hear other people's thoughts. I'm not getting your comments for some reason, but after the show, I'll comment back to you. I think that it's an exciting time for us. I do feel like there's a lot more attention across the city. You know, Chicago used to be very segregated in terms of its music, but like how you're importing it to River North area. There's all kinds of scenes on the north side, south side, even the west side. You know, like I feel like that's something that's new. I don't know. Have you played in other parts of the city?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where else do you like to play?
So I really enjoy playing in like, give me like a Pilsen or like a Wicker Park,
nice,
Logan, like those areas.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, I would love to say, you know, I want to go play at Smart Bar up north, but like that to me is just hasn't happened for me yet. You know, so that will like eventually for me, it's like, if you're gonna ask me where, it's Wrigley because of that.
Yeah, Wrigley's
and there's a lot of good spots up there, right up north. But I do think that there's some hidden gems. Like I mean, even I hadn't even been to Masada till last. I went over there for Ron Carroll's birthday. The other week. It was last week, I think, or the week before. And what a great venue! I've never been there. You know, cool. I mean, like Darlene played. They had a lot of really great DJs that night. Glenn Underground, Farley Jack Master Funk, he played. So it was just like that to me, and he does that every Wednesday. So shout out to him, because he's like every single lineup I've seen has just been so proper,
nice.
And it's just a party you didn't know about, right? And even when I went over and played, when I did Pilsen, I played at the Tribe Party over at Penny Whistle. Amazing venue, amazing party. Shout out to M-Doc and C's and those guys. Amazing. I mean, like that to me is like, I would go there, and that's where I want to be and hanging out, you know? So that spot, I'm trying to think of other good clubs. I played at California Clipper. I really enjoy that.
I know that place.
Oh my gosh, it's so great. It's a really good,
check that out.
Yeah, it's a great spot. My buddy Gene Hunt, he does a monthly there. My buddy Jesse Sandwich, he's over there. Like there's a lot of really good house DJs, and it's a lot of vinyl going on, so it's cool. It's really cool to see people spinning that.
Do you spin vinyl?
I do. Yeah. I'm starting, but you know, I for me, so I actually have a gig this month at Car Club. Okay. And I'm gonna spin some vinyl there, so that'll be fun.
I like that. I do like vinyl. What I love about vinyl is everything. I don't like carrying it. That's the only downside.
Hauling it.
And you know, I mean, I did vinyl for 100 years before we switched to the digital format. But I'm doing a monthly vinyl party for Slow Mo. I don't know if you're familiar with Kristen.
Oh
Carlson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I do her parties. She calls them Old Gold. She does a lot of different parties.
Those look great too. Those look awesome.
Oh, we have a blast.
I need to come see one of those, because I need to come see.
And she sells out every one. Like
cool.
They are so fun. But we'll be at the Guild Row all summer. I think it's the first Saturday of the month we're doing Guild Row, and those are day parties. So they start like, I don't know, 3:00 and go to like till the sundown or something like that. But I love it. And what it forces you to do, here's the cool thing about vinyl. It really forces you to curate your set. Like, you know, you can have a jump drive with 5,000 songs on it. And, you know, you might pull together, okay, I'm going to play with these 100, you know, tonight, whatever. We put your set together. You got to be even more specific.
Oh, yeah. This is what you got.
You know, because this is what you're bringing, and that's all you have.
Yeah.
So like, okay,
you can't go to a crate with 1,000 records to just look through.
And especially if you're doing open format. So if you're just doing straight house,
Yeah,
that's kind of easier. But the parties we do, the slow-mo parties, the goal is to have open format.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're doing some open format at those?
Oh yeah, it's totally open format. So
really?
What we do is we do old stuff. We don't do. I mean, really, it's called old gold for a reason. So we're playing like 80s, 90s, mostly 80s and 90s and stuff. You know, we might throw some like maybe a 70s disco, something like that in there, but and maybe early 2000s. So you really have to be specific because there's hip hop, there's reggae, there's disco, there's house music, there's a little bit of punk, there's a little bit of everything that we sort of throw in there.
Absolutely.
And make it work.
That's nice. Man, now I gotta come check one of these.
Yeah, we have a good time. And
so is it always you, Darlene, and Vidi?
Yeah.
Okay, the good girls. Okay,
we
nice.
Do all the old gold parties. She does other parties too. She has a lot of events, Sleeping Village and a few other places.
That place looks great too.
We were at the Treetop, which is the top floor of the Salt Shed.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
that
it's really awesome.
Yeah.
So I'll keep you posted. But I want to do more vinyl now. I'm just like I'm really enjoying it.
Not enough places to do it. That's the thing. You know,
we can make it happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We can make it happen.
Exactly.
I mean, we produce parties.
Funny enough, I've been wanting to. At Celeste, I've been wanting to do one night. We do a vinyl night where it's all vinyl. Yeah, and we do it on disco rooftop and like do it the full building.
So cool.
That's what I'm saying. So we're gonna try to make that happen. It's just the logistics of it, moving everything out. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just especially because that venue too. It's very kind of packed. It's
compact.
It's compact.
I saw that.
So it's like how that could be when you're doing a vinyl. So you need your space.
You need the space to put the records.
That booth, there is not a lot of space.
I mean, and we recognize that because even when we're just setting up, we're just like tight. And we're like, so you don't need that when you just got jump drive and two CDJs. Yeah. But it's like, no, we need a whole table behind us so we can set our stuff up. We need a whole big table in front of us. So, you got to really prepare for it. 100%. And it forces me to go back into like my collection. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I did a set in 1997. With this at this party, I'm like, I'm gonna redo that set. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was it? And so I'm looking for stuff, and it was like, oh yeah, that was like
you got everything.
Lauryn Hill.
You got a nice organization of your records.
Absolutely not.
No. I thought you said that.
My records are so unorganized.
Yeah, same. Quite honestly, same.
It's awful. Yeah. I tell you, it's a whole day. I'm like, okay, if I'm trying to find something specific. It's just a lost cause. I'm like, hopefully I'll run into it. And sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. So
absolutely.
So I'm like, I want to do that mix, and I did that and that. But it'll get there. My goal this year is to organize my music, but I literally have like 10,000 records. It's something crazy. I can imagine. It's like that room back there.
I can imagine. Nuts. I gotta see that. I need to see this one day.
Come on through.
I'm gonna come check it out.
Yes, we come hang out. All right, let me get through some of my questions because already we got 15 minutes. So I want to ask you two questions. What, if anything, are you losing sleep over around your own musical career? Like where do you want to go, and what is it that gives you angst about it?
That is a good question. That is a great question. For me, I would say a lot of it right now is around the production. It's like am I sending my stuff to the right people? Am I sending it to enough people? Yeah. Right. Yeah. So funny enough, I'm doing my first vinyl release next month.
Really?
Yes. And so
I got to get one.
Oh, you got one for the free.
Awesome.
I'm gifting it. But I'm telling you,
I'll buy it. I'll be a customer.
No, I'm telling you.
Yes.
This to me is like so when I say, am I getting in the right crowds of people? I haven't done anything vinyl. I've worked with a lot of labels, and they've never pressed any of my releases. Okay. So I really, it was a goal of mine, and I got with, I'm sure you heard of Jordan Fields. Mm-hmm. So I got with him. I met him at one of the Brunch Locks parties, one of Carl's parties. Okay. And he was like, he came up to me and we were talking and talking about records. And I was telling him about some of my stuff, and we have, I sent him a lot of music, and he was vibing with the music. So we're doing a release together. He's gonna have one side. I'm gonna have one side,
Nice.
and I've just been so excited about this because I know he has a lot of people in his network that I don't really know or maybe don't know who I am. So it'll be cool to get my records in some of these stores rather than just sending it out digitally online to all these people, right?
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a huge community of people that is very vinyl. You know, that's
and
like
even more so, people are not getting into it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, you know, I try to get into gramophone at least, like, you know, I try to get in there weekly because I'm like, I need to be running through all these I need to be listening to these records. I need to hear what they have on the shelves. Like, this is Chicago.
Yes.
So I'm like, let me just spend hours here. You know, it helps me with, I find some samples. I bug my boy Michael Serafini. Shout out to Michael.
Yeah.
I bug him, and he helps me and gives me some records, and you know, kind of puts me onto some cool stuff.
Yeah. Vic Lavender has a new spot too. Have you been to his record store? It's out and it's in Bridgeport.
What's it called?
What is Vic Lavender's? See, I can't see the comments. Vic Lavender's got a record spot.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's new. I haven't been. I promised.
I've seen it though. No, I've seen it on.
I'm telling you, Vic, if you're watching, we're both coming. We're gonna, because I want to be there, be immersed in it. He's got DJs, performers. It's all kind of cool stuff.
I've definitely seen that. And I would love to check that out too.
Yeah, I'll post it when I repost this piece. But yeah, no, that's good stuff. So record stores are where it's at. So you're losing sleep because you're trying to just make sure your things are in the right hands. You have produced a lot of stuff, and I was trying to find a lot of it. Where can I find your music?
It's all over. So I have some. I got some stuff on SoundCloud. I got some stuff on all the music platforms. I got Apple Music. Apple Music is all over Apple Music.
Because that's where
Spotify.
I was trying to find
the thing is like Apple Music is tough because there's so many Twans. So it's a bunch, you know, and it's funny because I actually I got to talk with them because what I need to do is get a bunch of my different records are on different people's profiles.
Gotcha.
So like my profile has some of my tracks, but not all of them are on there because some of them are there. There's just mistakes with the label where they put the wrong Twan on the song.
Got it. Okay.
And this has happened since I first started releasing music.
Yeah. At Salt Shed, Darlene, Lady D, picked up one of the records. It was like a common album. I can't remember which one. It's got Used to Love Her on it. And she's reading the liner notes. And this person, we used to know this person, that person. You can't do that with a digital recording that you download.
No.
You don't know who did what or what. You know, it's just a song.
Yeah.
You know, often they're like, who is that? I got to look it up.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
And there, so that you can actually, I mean, so there's usually like an info thing. So you hit the info and it'll give you the artist name.
Yeah.
But there's no production credits. There's no it has everything.
Thank you.
No credits. No little
nothing. Story.
Yeah. No.
Why this was inspiring.
Yeah.
Like, so there's some beauty.
That's the beauty.
There's an artistry to it. And there's like the visual tactile element of it that's really cool. So I'm into it. I'm more in love with music on records now than I ever have been in many years. So cool. We'll be doing that. New artists. I want to talk about your process. So I was just listening to you briefly, and I've heard you spin before. And what is it? How would you describe like your style, your music, you know, your research? Where do you get music from? You know, how do you think about programming it? even when you came tonight, like what goes through your mind? Because a lot of DJs have different processes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I basically,
Mm-hmm.
first and foremost, it's you think about, for me, I think about I put myself in the situation.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm hanging out here with Lori
Uh-huh.
on this show, Vintage
Uh-huh.
House Show.
Yeah.
I curate, just close my eyes, put myself in that situation,
Uh-huh.
and I think, what would you play? What should you play, right?
Uh-huh.
And then I put together a little crate of
Yeah.
records that I think will be good, and then
Uh-huh.
most of them don't. Like, I had a whole lot of records, but most of them don't even get played, right?
Yeah, that's
so you
funny.
pick the ones that you feel in the
At the
moment
moment.
are right,
Right.
and that's what's great about
Yeah.
it, right? That's why I don't do set lists either, because how are you gonna know that in that moment those records are going to work in that order?
That's so interesting.
You know what I mean? I mean,
I do know what you mean.
A lot of these
That's
touring
that's
DJs, they have their sets together, but it's different in an intimate room, very intimate club setting. You need to pivot if maybe somebody, if you're going in a direction that oh, I'm not feeling that record, sometimes you have to pivot and go on a new direction and give them something else, and then people are vibing to that. So I feel like it's very I feel it out. I put myself in the situation. I think about what I would do, and then you just think about your audience, who you're with, who what you're trying to convey, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's very important.
Yeah.
But also I will say how my inspiration for finding music, right?
Yes.
Like you said, that I go to Gramophone. I go to you. I look up. All right, who for me, or at least not even looking it up. Who in your head is somebody that you are influenced by?
Yeah.
Right. I think about all the Chicago guys. I think and girls. Right. Yeah. I go to their sets.
Yeah.
All these sets are online. Right. You can find all these. The Mike Dunns and the Terry Hunters and the Lori Branches. You can go online and find some of these sets.
That's true.
So I listen through all these sets. You get records from that.
Yeah.
And it's also a part of just going out. I'll tell you, I go out to Smart Bar a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of these clubs that are, it's really good house music. I go to these places a lot, obviously to support and show love and to dance and have a good time. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
But you better believe I'm in there getting records too.
Doing research.
Because you want to hear what other people are playing. You want to hear how people receive things.
Absolutely.
So for me, it's beautiful to be able to go to some of these parties and have access to. We're in the city of some of the best DJs in the world.
Yeah.
So why would I not go to some of these parties, check these guys out, and get influence? You know what I mean? So that to me is what drives me the most when it comes to going out and at this point in my life.
Listen, every time I go out, for me, it's I want to do all that too. I'm here to support you, go. But I am listening. I am trying to even that, the way that you brought that in is not something I would have considered. Like, I'm always learning from other DJs.
Absolutely.
And it's not like you want to emulate that, but it's how does it inform? Like, how would you do something like, how does that inform your style? If you were to integrate that song into a set or what have you. So, I think we're very similar. I have met DJs who do exactly that, who have a set list and they do not deviate from it. And it's like,
I know.
This is what I'm playing. This is the order that they're going in.
I don't understand that. But
I guess it works for them. I mean,
some of the biggest DJs in the world do that, right?
I know.
Like for like EDC and all these Tomorrowland, all these festivals.
Yeah.
Majority of the DJs do that, I think, because they have a whole production that's set around the track list and the confetti and the lights and everything.
I guess you have to.
That a lot of these like people do it.
Are they mixing live?
I feel like at this point it depends on who you're talking about, right?
Anybody's guess.
Right? Because I mean, some people I've heard some of the biggest DJs in the world, even I've heard they say that they don't, because at these festivals everything needs to be timed for their production.
So what are they doing?
Up there acting like they're doing stuff. Yeah, right.
They're doing a chicken dance.
No, exactly. I couldn't.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if you have 5 minutes and it's a routine, I get that. I mean, we've all been there. But like for an hour-long set? Really?
I don't get that. I could never.
That's not even DJing. That's just entertainment. That's just a performance.
It is. I agree with you. And for me, if you're gonna do that, it better be majority of your own music, because
that's
it's just
true.
not even impressive.
So what's the point?
Yeah.
Because if at least if it's your music, then that's what you're doing. You're performing your songs.
Showing your songs, but but even a lot of these DJs, they'll mix in a track or two, but it's not majority of their own stuff,
Yeah, I know that we played Arc Fest last year. We're doing it this year, and
I was there. I saw you.
Yeah, that's right.
I was there. I was in the crowd.
Yeah, that was fun. Well, but what's funny is that we were like, well, we're going to be mixing out of each other's stuff, and it needs to be tight. So, like, let's practice what we're going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we did that,
still it was different, right? It was still different.
It was like, I'm not playing that. I changed my mind.
Oh yeah.
We were.
You're in the moment.
Yes, it's like this is not gonna work right now.
I gotta switch it up.
And Darlene's like, okay, just do what and then we all did that, and so it just worked out that way. So
the sets are better when you do that.
It's very hard for me, even when I have records. That's why I have to bring this many because I'm going to play this many, but I still got to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
So. Anyway, it's cool. I have to ask you about 818. I was doing a little Twan, was scrolling, was stalking. I'm like, let me go, look at that. What is this? The limo and the 818 party. Was that your birthday?
No, so that was like that was just an event.
Like superstar.
I used to do events with them.
Okay.
When they were new to the city, they had just launched.
And it's a liquor?
So it's a tequila. But it's Kendall Jenner. It's one of the
wow.
It's Kendall Jenner. Yeah. So it's her tequila. But they were new to the city a few years back. They were pretty new to the city, and I was very involved in a lot of the parties that they were doing in terms of like launch parties and introducing it to new venues and just putting together parties. So that one was a Valentine's Day party.
That's what that was.
So yeah,
I was like, this looks like a lot of fun. Hit the girls with the 8s and everybody's drinking. I was like, this is about to be girls gone wild. What's going on here? Like, what's Twan doing?
That's hilarious. No, that is funny.
Stepping out the limo, looking all fly. I was like,
awesome.
All right, you better work.
That's awesome.
That's fun. So
my party days.
Is that what your party day?
I'm starting to, like I said, it's very music oriented now. I'm not.
Everyone's entitled to that period.
Yeah, 100%.
We would party a lot when we were younger. I mean, so much so. It was with one of my buddies, and we were driving. I don't know. I was like 20, 21, and we're just like, damn, we're just hitting it so hard every night. If we weren't spinning, we were dancing, we were doing something. He's like, all right, listen. We have to cut down just 4 nights a week. Okay, let's
4 nights.
Because we were going out 7 nights a week.
Oh,
like we were like, let's cut back to like 4 nights a week.
That's a comfortable.
It's like, damn, I don't know if I can do that. What we do for the other 3 nights. So,
Lori, where can I ask you something?
Yes.
And I know I could talk to you all night.
You can talk to me.
Listen,
anything. Yes.
So, what were your spots when you were hitting it 7 nights a week? Where were we going?
We were going everywhere. I mean, we were going to clubs. We were going into, even before I was 21, we were going to 21 and over spots. We were going wherever we wanted to go. So we were hitting like the gay clubs. We were hitting the straight clubs.
Mm-hmm.
We were hitting, we wanted to dance though. So we were playing, like, this is like, it was house. It was house. We were doing house music, disco. We were going to Exit, like Neo's. Like, we were going to punk rock bars. We were going everywhere. Wow. We were going Rush Street, Mothers, crazy places. We would just hit, especially if we knew who the DJ was going to be, we were going there. Rush Street and that area had a bunch of stuff that we would do. And then we would hit these clubs on the South Side. So the South Side clubs were typically smaller and they were more like lounges.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would hit a lot of those. They would pop up, and, they'd be up for a few months, they go away. And then there was a few that were like standards. So there's a club called Jeffrey Pub. It's still there.
Oh, wow.
It's on 71st and Jeffrey. This was a gay club, mostly guys. And we went there all the time because we knew that was the after party. We'd go there because it was there to like.
It was a late night.
Yeah, it was always a late night. I don't know if they do that now, but that club has been there. It was there 20 years before I got there. It's still there.
Wow.
40 years later,
That's
still
awesome.
Going at it. But no, we were hanging. Yeah, we did a lot. And then we were at people. I mean, it was nonstop. So listen, by the time I was like 23, 24, I was burnt out. I was just like, I got to finish school.
Same. Me too.
I got to go back to school. I got to finish school.
Me too,
So
Lori.
yeah, no, it was a good time. So I do like to hang though. I do like to hang for the purpose of networking, hearing new music.
Mhm.
You know, I don't necessarily need to dance my ass off all night because
Yeah.
you know I can do that at home.
No, of course. What's your spot now?
I do love to go to Smart Bars
Smart
too.
Bar, right?
I do, and I
can't-
tell Joe all the time, like
Can't beat it.
you have kept me dancing my whole entire life with this club because I always sort of go back to it.
It's amazing.
And then there are people who do promotion parties like my buddy Craig Loftus.
Craig.
Yeah, Craig is just
We were hanging out at the Museum of House event.
Oh yeah, that was good. He had a club he's had many clubs throughout the years, and so
he used to play at his club Vertigo, was it?
Well, that was our social club.
Oh, okay.
We had when we were teenagers.
Oh, okay.
But he has like owned clubs.
What was the club he owned that I'm trying?
The Lodge.
The Lodge.
That was
okay,
the
that's
most
what it
recent
was.
one.
Yeah.
But he's had several, and so whenever he puts something together, you know, I'm always there. I'm always a regular. I was his DJ for a long time at this club called Reunion that was on Lake Street.
Okay.
So I used to have a lot of residencies. That was kind of like my last real residency. I have a residency with Slow Mo, but that's like once a month now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, trust me, I've hit them all. Shelter, China Club, all those places. You know, like anyway. That's before your time.
I'm sure.
That's before his time. So we are overtime. So let's get into what's next for Twan. So you are producing. What do you want to be in 5 years? When you come back here and we're having this conversation, or maybe it'll be for a different show, but I'll be talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
What can we expect?
You know, I don't know, but for me, where would I love to see myself?
Yes,
is somebody that is just furthering house music in this city.
Okay.
Real house music.
That's right.
So I'm not in this to get big. I'm not in this to, you know.
You don't want to travel the world?
I mean, it'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
If it comes with it, that's great.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing this for that.
Okay.
I'm doing this because it feels right.
Yeah.
And because I love the music.
That's great.
You know, so that to me is my ultimate driving factor. I want to be somebody that is you know, known in the Chicago scene for putting out good house music.
That's wonderful.
And that's that, you know.
I love your energy and your spirit and your love for the music. It just really shines through you.
Thank you.
Your appreciation for the culture and your commitment to driving it forward. It's so sincere. So I mean I really, really appreciate it.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Lori.
Sweet. Well, you can catch me, Antoine, at Celeste next week. Next Friday. I think that's the 15th. Is it May 15th, 14th, 15th? Anyway, not this Friday, next Friday. I'll be at Celeste, which is 111 Hubbard. Is that the right address?
I think so.
It's on Hubbard Street. Anyway, catch us at Celeste. You can catch him every Friday. He plays with all the legends. You know, it's good music. If you heard it earlier, that was just a nice little taste for you. You can hear it all night if you catch him at Celeste and many other clubs. Any other place you're playing?
Well, so in terms of gigs I have coming up, I'm doing the Taste of Randolph next
Randolph,
month.
right?
So that's gonna be great. Also Brunch Locks with Carl.
Okay.
I'm doing that in like 2-3 weeks. I'm doing that. End of May, I'm doing that.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm doing Car Club that weekend, that same weekend.
You're busy.
That Friday, I'm playing with Jevin Jackson at Celeste. So I'm just looking forward to all that.
That's great. That's great. Well, we're going to keep checking you out. I encourage everybody in the listening range and the viewing range, check out my man. Twan is a powerhouse in the Midwest house music scene, nominated for Chicago Reader for the best house music DJ in 2024. I can totally understand why. And I'm sure you're going to be nominated for many more things. You know, just keep doing it. Keep doing what you do. We'll keep following you. Buy his music. He's everywhere. And I'll post some links so that people can get directly to you.
Awesome.
To your stuff. All right. So I'm going to take you out with some really fun stuff from the Zeta. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll catch up with you later. Let me find my Zeta. Where is it? There you go.
Thanks for listening to the Vintage House Show podcast. Please subscribe and share, and check us out live, WNUR 89.3 FM, Wednesdays at 10 o'clock.